This is going to be difficult. Order! Order! Yeah, that's the crux of the whole case. If Soseki-san is innocent, then why? Why has the victim accused him? Well, Mr. Natsume, what do you have to say to this accusation? That evening, yes, I did take some freshly brewed tea with me when I visited Mr. Shamspeare's room as a gift. The public water pump outside always freezes at night, so I brought bottled water especially to make it. And this is the result! I will never touch tea again. Never! The public pump was frozen, you say? That's not information we've heard before. That will do, thank you. Now, according to our laws, the defense must have the opportunity to cross-examine witnesses at least once. Therefore, I call upon the witnesses now for a formal testimony. I presume the prosecution has no objection. None whatsoever, my lord. Good. Then you will give your account of events on the night in question to the court now. Yes! Because, I mean, who else would there be? I think it's going to be probably important that those bricks in the wall were loose and somebody could have looked inside at night and seen something different. Maybe that guy was snooping around. But I want to have a look at these teacups as well. We didn't actually check them out, did we? This is the teacup from which Mr. Natsume was drinking. Yes, unlike the other one, the inside of the cup is completely clean. I suppose he must have drunk the contents before the tea had a chance to leave a mark. I always gulp it down too. Sorry, Mr. Naruhodo? Well, if you just sip it little by little, it goes cold. Clearly, I shall have to instruct you on the proper way to take tea. But that's updated things. There's no tea ring on the inside of Natsume's cup. But there is one on this. This must be the cup that Mr. Shamspeare was drinking from then. It's stained on the inside. Tea does that, I'm afraid, even green tea. Oh, really? I've never noticed before. You've never noticed? Well, I never leave it in the cup long enough to have a mark. I like to gulp it down. Drink tea while it's hot. That's the Japanese way, isn't it? Oh dear, so many people have the wrong idea about our culture, and most of them are Japanese. Do you not even know how to be a Japanese person, Mr. Naruhodo? There's nothing else abnormal about them. See, what I did notice is there looks to be like a stain on the floor there. It's like water had been spilled. Interesting. What's also interesting is, it doesn't look as though the partial envelope is there. Huh. Now that's strange. Where the hell would it be? But other than that, I don't really see anything wrong with this scene. Okay. And that was when Gregson got there early. That was like as we were getting there as well, or before that. It was around 9 o'clock in the evening when I visited my neighbour. I took some tea with me as a gift. We had a heated literary debate over a nice hot drink, after which I went back to my room at around 11. Ah, my tea was completely harmless. He couldn't have locked the door behind me otherwise, could he? Strychnine takes some time to have an effect on the body. People don't keel over immediately after taking it. The victim would have been perfectly able to lock the door after his guest left. The argument still stands. Yeah, but how come Natsume is not sick? I mean, unless they're saying he put it in his cup and gave it to him. Yes, I see. It all seems relatively straightforward. Excuse me, but that testimony does raise one rather crucial point, I think. Mr. Natsume claims his tea to have been harmless. Presumably, though, the teacups have been examined for traces of the poison, haven't they? Why didn't I think of that? Because you're a fool. Well, as it happens, No, we haven't been able to. Probably because we took the teacups with us from the crime scene. Did I hear you correctly, Inspector? Scotland Yard has failed to examine the suspect substance. How could you have overlooked something so important? Isn't that the first thing you should have done? My learned Nipponese friend is falsely incensed. The inspector said Scotland Yard was unable to examine the tea, not that it was overlooked. Unable? Why? It's simple enough. There was none left, not a drop. Someone must have been very thirsty indeed. With current scientific techniques, it is not possible to test for poison under such circumstances. We only needed a drop, but that one drop does actually have to exist, funnily enough. The lack of examination notwithstanding, it appears nothing other than the tea passed the victim's lips on the night in question. Thank God Sholmes isn't here, or he would be saying soap. I see, thank you. The matter is clear. No, it isn't. It's fucking circumstantial as shit, but okay. Cast your eyes over the jury, my learned friend. What? You can see it in their faces, I'm sure, the recognition of the accused's guilt. Your client's fate is all but sealed. In mere moments from now, you will lose, and your compatriot will be damned for all eternity. He's right. I can feel all 6 of the jurors looking daggers at me. Slap! But I can't let them beat me down. I won't. Counsel for the defense, proceed with the cross-examination. Yes, my lord. This was around 9 in the evening. Visited the neighbor, took tea as a gift. Alright, so we will press. Were you and your neighbor good friends then? Ah, no! We weren't friends! Not at all! Not at all! Never. Ever! Way to sell it. Simple no would have sufficed. Then, why did you decide to pay him a visit? And Mr. Shamspeare fancies himself as having a great literary knowledge. As a fellow scholar of English literature, we find much to talk about together. Come now, no Nipponese could understand the finer points of English literature. Wow, such a racist. And on the night in question, that was the topic of conversation as well, I presume? It was the day of my last trial when I was acquitted. I'd just arrived back at my lodgings when I ran into Mr. Shamspeare outside on the street. That was around 6 o'clock. We exchanged 1 or 2 pleasantries, but it soon turned into a heated discussion. He was on his way out at the time, though, so I promised to visit his room that evening at 9 to continue our debate. But did I have ill intentions? No, not one, not two, not any. Not at all. Never, ever. A simple no would have sufficed, I feel. Then tell the court what did happen when you visited the victim's room. You had a heated literary debate over a hot drink. Alright. A literary debate about Shakespeare's works, I think you said, didn't you? Shakespeare? Ah, a very worthy topic of conversation, I must say. Oh yes, my lord. Romeo and Juliet. Who was the stronger? It was a profoundly pleasurable parley. Romeo and Juliet? Who was the stronger? I know I'm going to regret asking this, but how did the debate go? Well, we both agreed that we would reach a conclusion more quickly with a reenactment, so we battled it out. In a Greco-Roman style, naturally. What? Mr. Shamspeare had all sorts of costumes in his room for such a contest. Okay, so when you say a reenactment, you mean you were actually in costume? He as Romeo, I as Juliet. God. And after a vigorous, wild tussle... I, as Juliet, came out on top. Y'all heard it, guys. Juliet's on top. A victory I'll cherish forever. I dare not imagine the terrible scene of carnage. The fact remains that it was you who prepared the tea and took it to the victim, correct? I boiled the water in my room and made the pot to take with me. I'd heard that he was too poor to have tea for himself, you see. It's true, there's no sign of tea leaves in the man's room. I wanted to do something nice, to be friendly. So why is everyone looking at me with such suspicion? My tea was harmless! Of course it was! Do you have any basis for this statement, witness? He couldn't have locked the door behind, otherwise could he?
Hold it!
Yes, there was not a drop of tea left in the victim's room anywhere, was there? That's correct. Anyone would think the fellow had never had a pot of tea before. He must have licked it dry. Which is a pity, because one drop is all we would have needed to analyze it for poison. And you say that you returned home to your room at 11 o'clock, Mr. Natsume? Yes, definitely. By heaven and earth, I swear it. The landlord was able to verify that as it happens. He confirmed the defendant went back to his room at around 11 at night. And how is the landlord able to attest to this? Oh, please don't ask, Judge. Don't ask. He said it was the lamps, I believe. The lamps, Inspector? When tenants return to their rooms and start using gas, the lamps in other parts of the house flicker. Yeah, Mr. Garrideb seems to pay a lot of attention to the comings and goings of his tenants. There's only one key to Mr. Shamspeare's room. I know that for certain. So he must have locked the door himself from the inside the room. The victim has confirmed that to be the case, yes. So I'm right, my tea was harmless. Completely harmless. If you take poison, you die. Everyone knows that. It's not that simple, I'm afraid. What do you mean? It takes time to have an effect on the body, and people don't keel over immediately. So what I want to know is, they've been unable to actually test for poison, but they know what poison it was. How? Exactly? How? How long does it take for symptoms to appear then? According to the coroner I was speaking to at the yard, about 30 minutes after the poison is consumed. Then the victim suffers violent convulsions, cramping and stiffness, and eventually dies from asphyxiation. There's a 30-minute interval between the poison is ingested and the onset of symptoms. There seems to be a lot of different types of poison in the world, that's for sure. We're learning about them in this game because it seems like nearly everything has been poisoned. I think there's only been one murder case where a person was actually killed by something other than poison. Actually, no, two. Yeah, the McGilded case, they stabbed the dude. And yeah, the last one was a shooting, so... But poison's happening a lot in this game, that's all I'm saying. Oh dear. Death by poisoning again? It's always so awful. So common. 30 minutes is a long time. Yes, it's 30 minutes. It's half a whole hour. 30 minutes. Thank you, Van Zykes. Certainly long enough for the victim to have locked the door behind the accused after he left. You can't deny that. And it further degrades Soseki-san's alibi, except for one thing. One thing. Think about it this way, guys, okay? They're saying that he drank the poison and it would have taken a half hour for the effects to take place. And in that time, Soseki could have left, and then the guy could have locked the door and sat his ass back down, finished his tea, and then started to die from it. But he went to the room around 9 and returned around 11. That's 2 whole hours. And if he made the tea at 9, why on earth would they not drink it until at least 10:30? Let it sit in a pot for an hour and a half to get cold. This doesn't add up. He took the tea with him from his room to Shamspear's room, so you'd think they would have drunk it then. That could be the crucial argument. I have the medical report from the doctor who examined the victim here, my lord. It spells it out, really. The accused is the only person who could have done it. Very well. The court adds the report to the court record as evidence. Alright. Oh yes, I see it here. Delay onset of symptoms. Great. Let's have a look at that real quick before we do anything else. Okay, so cause of coma, ingestion of a small quantity of strychnine, toxic effects present 30 minutes after ingestion, the likelihood of the substance having been mixed with the tea the victim was drinking, but no sample could be obtained for testing. The poisoning incident occurred around 1:30 AM. What? On the 21st of February. Assessed from the victim's pocket watch appears to have broken when the man collapsed after the delay onset of symptoms. No container for poison was found at the scene. So that's even more. The guy went back to his room at 11 and they took the tea with them. They drank it and they left. So if it occurred around 1:30 AM, well, when they say the poisoning incident occurred, do they mean the poison was in his system at 1:30 AM and then it was 2 o'clock when it took effect? Or does it say that the guy collapsed at 1:30 AM? Because therefore 1 AM was when the poison would have entered his system. 2 hours after Soseki went back to his room. How are they not noticing these glaring omissions? Well, the victim would have been perfectly able to lock the door. Hold it! The argument still stands, you say? This is what Mr. Natsumi has been saying, isn't it? The pair of them drank tea together that night, so if there was poison in it, the victim wouldn't have been able to lock the door after the accused left later on. Exactly! Me and my tea are innocent! Sweet and innocent, I tell you! I'm afraid, sir, that doesn't follow. You see, strychnine is a slow-acting poison. In other words, it takes time for the symptoms to appear. So you could have left the room up to 30 minutes after the victim drank the tea. And as long as you did that, Mr. Shamspear could have locked the door after you'd gone. But no! We drank the tea straight away! The battle, whether Romeo and Juliet was stronger, that came after the tea. Do you have any evidence to support the statement? In my great homeland, the Empire of Japan, we have a saying. Let me guess. Drink tea while it's hot. Sure, a proverb will satisfy the prosecution, no problem. I'm afraid there's no conclusive proof to support the defendant's assertion. On the contrary, there are sufficient grounds to infer this guilt in the matter. No! So that's the extent of the testimony, is it? If I could voice a personal opinion, Mr. Naruhodo? Of course, go ahead. Mr. Natsume is arguing for his innocence so adamantly and so persistently, yet Inspector Gregson just brushes what he says aside. It's really quite infuriating. Yes, it is. Welcome to my job. Yes, I agree. We need to find an inconsistency in what the inspector is saying, I think. I'm afraid so. As things stand, the jurors are sure to find Mr. Natsume guilty. I see it. What we need to focus on is the poison and the tea. Let's listen carefully to the testimony again. Yes. Yeah, so I think what we're supposed to do here it might be the last one. takes time to have an effect on the body. They don't keel over. The victim would have been perfectly able to lock the door after his guest left. The argument still stands. That's what we need to cripple. And I think we use the victim's medical report to object to that, because it tells us on page 2 when the poison entered the guy's system, or when the poisoning occurred, or when he collapsed from it, whichever way around it is. It still doesn't change the fact that it doesn't fit in the timeline. This means he was poisoned at either at 1:30 or half an hour before that. And that was 2 hours or 2.5 hours after Natsume went back to his room. We also have the pair of teacups. I don't know if this is going to help us with anything yet. All we know is that clearly Mr. Shamspeare left his tea in the cup for a while, whereas Natsume didn't. That kind of blows his argument up a little bit. It could be that Shamspeare didn't drink his tea at all and let it go cold, and then he decided to drink it around about 1:30. So I don't know if that's going to help us with this, but I think it's the medical report that we need to do. But before we do that, guys, a couple of things. First of all, we're coming up on a break, and I need some more water, so we're going to go and do that. But also, since we have a few people here, guys, we're going to do a game giveaway as well. So before I actually go on my break, we're going to we're going to open the giveaway. That's the word I'm after. We're going to open the giveaway. We're giving away a copy of Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. It's a Humble Bundle gift link. You need to be a follower of the channel to win. You can always enter by doing exclamation mark enter space 1 when I open the giveaway. Not yet. Don't do it yet. So yeah, everyone can join. So jump right on in. And like I said, all you need to do is follow the channel in order to be picked as a winner. It will let you enter, but it won't pick you as a winner if you're not a follower. So yeah, don't miss out, guys. I'm going to open the giveaway now, and good luck to everybody. There we go. I'm going to put up the thing. Wait, where's the giveaway? There it is. Yeah, there we go. Okay, guys, I'm going to go on my break. So we are back. I do what I'm told. Yes, you will. You will enter the giveaway. All right. Let's see. I'm going to just do what I said I was going to do previously. I'm going to just jump in, use the victim's medical report as the objection, because he says he would have been perfectly able to lock the door after the guest left, and the argument still stands. But after the guest left at 11, this guy then passed out from the poison at either 1:30 or half an hour afterwards. I don't know how to read what it says in the report.
Objection.
Yes, got it. The argument still stands, you say? I think not, Inspector. Whip everybody. Whoosh, whoosh. Come again. I think you'll find that you've overlooked a very significant chronological inconsistency here. What does time travel have to do with this? Chrono what? What are you on about? According to this report, the victim must have consumed the poison at around 1:30 in the morning. And yet, the defendant, Mr. Natsume, left the victim's room at 11. Again, verified by the landlord. I'll start calling out lurkers, you bet I will. Absolutely. But hey, I mean, if there's only one person in the giveaway, guys, guess what? That one person's gonna win it. So, if you don't enter, you can't win. Ah! Yes, that's right. There's more than 2 hours of missing time there. In other words, if there was poison in the tea that Mr. Natsume brought to the victim's room, how could the victim have fallen ill to it 2.5 hours after the defendant left? Wait, why did they both go fucking freaky? If I win by default, that's no fun, and I will sulk the rest of the day. Guys, y'all don't want to make Moose sad, do you? If you don't want to make Moose sad, join the giveaway. And we'll take it out on chat. Oh no. The defense's argument is entirely reasonable. How do you respond, Lord Van Zykes? Is that I'm going to pour myself a glass of wine? That's how I respond, and then I'm going to throw it against that friggin' lamp. Or smash it between his hands. Oh god, here we go. Pray forgive the discourtesy if my mind has wandered. I was considering what cuisine would best complement the contents of my hallowed chalice this luncheon. How could it have happened, you ask? I do hate to shatter illusions, but my Nipponese friend appears to be chasing a phantom idea. A phantom? Is it so hard to imagine that the victim drank his tea after the accused had left? For example, at the time stated in the medical report. Yes, at around 1:30. You have no evidence. Mr. Natsume brought the tea with him to drink together with his neighbor. And in Japan, there is a well-known saying, drink tea while it's hot. And he's going like, we're not in Japan. And in my country, there is an even more apt saying. There is nothing more refreshing than cold tea. I have never heard that. Cold tea is gross. It is gross. The point is, if it was such a long gap, there may have been other ways to explain how the victim came to be poisoned, other possibilities. What sort of possibilities, Counsel? Soap. It was in his soap. Well, for example, the man could have had another visitor. Another visitor. That's a very bold assertion, my learned friend. From someone who has nothing to substantiate it. Or the victim could have taken the poison of his own volition. You suggest this may have been suicide, Counsel? Mr. Shakespeare has categorically denied suicide. The idea can and must be discounted. But he could be lying. He's thinking really hard. Is something wrong, Lord Van Zykes? I was listening to the sound of the carriage pulling up outside the courtroom. Pray forgive the discourtesy. A carriage? What carriage? It would seem that the key player in this case has just arrived. Oh no. Out! Out, brief candle! Life's but a waking shadow. A walking shadow, sorry. A poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Who, sir, are you? William Shakespeare, my lord. Alas, 'twas I undone by these bitter events. I am the victim. What? What's he doing here? "11.5 minutes left on the giveaway, guys, and we only have one person who's entered. Do exclamation mark enter space 1, as it says in the top right in chat, if you want a chance to win a copy of Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. It'll be a Humble Bundle gift link. I will whisper it to you here in Twitch when you win, if you win, and you need to be a follower to win. That's the only thing about it. Anybody can enter, and if you don't want the game, give it to someone else. It's a URL that you just redeem. So give that URL to another person. Give it to a friend. Give it to a relative. Give it to another streamer to give away or play. Entirely up to you guys. The only other person I can actually tell is Sam, and that's just seems wrong because it's like me winning by proxy. It's doubling up the vote. But hey, you know, if he wins it and you don't, then he can choose not to let... Well, actually, no, what am I saying? He can't choose not to let you play the game. You're his wife. That's like choosing death. prosecution seeks to call the gentleman to the stand. With his testimony, my learned friend's futile resistance will be utterly crushed. That's right. That's when you turn into friggin' Saruman. So you have chosen death. You're calling him as a witness? Very well, counsel. I will grant your request with interest. I'm curious to discover what the court shall hear from the victim himself. Happy am I, Shamspear, to regale thee with my tale of woe, my lord. But I still have my own tale to tell, my own tales of worse woe. I can regale the court with the tale of my perfect innocence in perfect English. Well, that will do, Mr. Natsume. Let the court hear from the victim. Wait, what? Why is he here again? Alright, so that's Mr. Shamspear, but who's the other man besides him? And yeah, he's not, I can see now he's definitely not one of the Skulkin brothers. Yes, I think I feel sure we've caught a glimpse of the man before. State your names and occupations for the court, please, witness. Or witnesses, both of you, right now. A writer of words so sweet they do scent the breeze. An inventor of ideas so profound they compose the earth. An unrivaled poet, the unmatched scribe, William Shakespeare. Were the great bard to be recalled to life anew, lo, what a magnificent man. Good fellows, I am he who ponders such a miracle, William Shamspear. Oh, the name's Meterman. Adron B. Meterman. I work for the, Altamont Gas Company, East End Branch Office. Ah, I remember now. It was yesterday on Briar Road. Oh yes, she's right, it's him. Oh, what's this? What's the man doing over there? It looks like he's trying to see into Soseki-san's lodgings. Is something wrong, Mr. Naruhodo? Excuse me, could we have a word? Ah! Shady as fuck. Yes, we spotted him outside Mr. Garrideb's house that morning. He's a gas company employee. What does he have to do with this case? So, Mr. William Shamspear, you are the victim in the miserable affair, correct? Oh heaven, oh hell. Do you command me to remember that sweet poison that crossed me and crossed mine innocent lips? I subpoenaed him for the trial, with the doctor's permission, naturally. Hearing the testimony of the aggrieved will remove any doubt from the jurors' minds, I'm sure. Behold, you have only to rearrange the letters of my name to see that me's a seraph. An angel indeed. I'm sorry, I just heard that repeated in my brain in Gungan. Me's a seraph! Me's an angel! Thus be I noble of mind, sweet of nature, and verily honest of heart, as all heavenly angels be. Because there isn't a less contrived meaning in your name, no, not at all. The jurors seem very moved by this man, I'm afraid. They're actually taking this seraph anagram idea seriously. Apart from him, he can't hear a damn thing. Thank you, witnesses, for your illuminating introductions. But, my lord, what's the man next to Mr. Shamspear doing here? The gas man, I mean. He's here to gaslight everybody. What? Me? Well now, allow me to enlighten my learned friend. You recall, I presume, your earlier impertinence? When you suggested the victim had another visitor to his room on the night in question, and moreover, that the victim is a compulsive liar. What? No, I didn't quite say it like that. This young chin-stroker here is to controvert your wild claims conclusively. Is that not so, Mr. Meterman? Hey, hang on. No, I'm just here. I didn't get an answer to my question. I hereby call for your formal testimonies. You will tell the court as lucidly as possible what happened on the night in question. One may smile and be a villain. Yes, it doth pay me, but let the truth be spoken. The truth of that wintry night of my discontent. The snow lay about. My neighbour did cometh in the evening bearing a gift of tea. But marry bitter was his drink, and when he left I did fall prostrate on my table. 'Twas the tea alone did pass my lips that late hour, naught else. I was outside this bloke's window in the freezing cold all night, keeping my eye on his room. Why? No one else visited his room but that short little round-backed Eastern fella. Wait, what did you say? You were keeping an eye on Mr. Shamspeare's room all night? That's right. Of course the bloke's window is all but blocked up, isn't it? But there's a little gap in the bricks where you can see in the room. So I spent the night trying to keep my teeth from chattering as I peered through that. Told you that would come up. But the question is, sir, why? Well, now that's because he's on my list. What a piece of work is this man. Wherefore wouldst thou not stare in wonderment? What are you talking about? This buzzing busybody hath no part in this play. I pray thee, pay him no heed, make no more ado about his tedious words. What you say about me? You what, mate? Harm yourself. This court is concerned with what happened on the night in question, nothing more. Indeed, that is so. And as the testimony we have just heard clearly reveals, there was no one other than the accused present at the time who could have carried out this crime. Oh, no, guilty, yeah, he's guilty. Well, I believe this may be the final testimony of the trial. Now, counsel for the defense may proceed with the cross-examination. Yes, my lord. 2.5 minutes left, guys, for the giveaway. And we've only got one entry. Come on, guys. Let's give away a copy of Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. Just do exclamation mark, enter space 1 in chat. You need to be a follower to win. And that's it. If you don't want the game, it's a URL. Give it to someone else, by all means. The snow lay about the neighbour did cometh in the evening bearing a gift of tea. To be clear, by neighbour you're referring to the defendant, Mr. Natsume? Oh, indeed, sire. Perchance thou wast that I call him the man from upstairs? And at what time did the mustachioed Nipponese visit your room? Our meeting was promised for the hour of 9, and lo, did he come to tender a gift of fragrant tea. Details which are in accordance with the defendant's own testimony, yes. And we were broiled in such a literary debate as history hath not seen before. By which I presume he means their discussion about who was the stronger, Romeo or Juliet. I, Shamspeare, did play the part of young Romeo whilst my neighbour played the fair Juliet. Each of us dressed as would our characters be to bring weight upon the merry experiment. I dare not imagine the scene. I was thinking the same thing, Judge. Frailty, thy name is woman. Canst thou imagine how dismayed I was? Yes, I had heard of the Eastern arts of jujitsu, but ne'er did I dream 'twould be a skill practiced by the comely maiden. Well, you know you weren't really wrestling Juliet, right? Just a guy dressed as her, come on. So Juliet beat Romeo up? This is not helping our case. I believe the court has heard enough about your earth-shattering literary debate. Perhaps you could reiterate your statement about the tea that the accused brought to your room. My liege, I am thy servant. Gladly I would do thy bidding. It was a bitter drink. When he left, I did fall prostrate on my table. That gives it kind of like... He's saying, you know, that it happened almost immediately after he left. Oh, guys, the giveaway has ended. No more entries. We're closed. No more entries. And, God, the pick winner button is even grayed out. So, yeah, guys. Well, thank you, Moo, for entering the giveaway. You've won yourself a copy of Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. So let me just get this quickly sent out to you. Feels super awkward, yeah. Well, you know, hey, they're here to be claimed, so... Yay, Sulk! That's right. Okay, let me just quickly send you a whisper here, Moo. Do-do-do-do. Where's the whisper button gone? Where do they hide it these days? What the hell? Where have you... Oh, there it is. Quick whisper. Jesus. Boom. Alright, so, you're going to get a Humble Bundle gift link in your Twitch private messages there, Moo. Sent. So just click on that link. I think you just need to put your email address in there and it will then send you everything you need to know to redeem the game for Steam. And again, if you want to give it to someone else, by all means do. Just give them that URL I've sent you instead of redeeming it yourself. And they can then redeem it themselves instead. So that's entirely up to you. And thank you very much for entering the giveaway. You have yet another excuse to not work around the house today. That's it. That's what we try to do. You know, we try to give people as many excuses as possible for that kind of stuff, you know, so... Awesome. Alright, well, let me close that now and get rid of that. Alright, oh, no, I didn't want to do that. So we're going to press this statement.
Hold it!
Let me stop you there. Mr. Natsume left your room around 11 o'clock, but it wasn't until after 2 that the poison made you collapse. That amounts to more than 3 hours of missing time. Does the happy cow dance? If the defendant had really put the poison into your tea, that 3-hour window of time is something you're going to have to explain. Gladly, 'tis an easy task. He's doing the happy cow dance as well. He's doing a happy something dance anyway. Look at that. What? I did drink of the tea not while my guest did tarry, but after he took leave of me. Faith was 'twas stone cold, but at 1 hour post midnight, verily were my lips parched. It's his own style of happy dance, yeah. That doesn't sound normal. Nay, it is quite ordinary, sire, after all. Thou must recall our fiery debate. Amidst such an argument, there'd be no time for fiery tea. Romeo and Juliet again, and who was the stronger? Mr. Shamspeare, in summary, allow me to confirm. Did you not come here with the intention of naming your attacker? But of course, my liege. 'Twas the stupid lover of words that did attempt to shuffle me off this mortal coil. Oh, we all know what that means. Don't think I could move both arms like that and keep talking at the same time. It's like, you know, rubbing your stomach and patting your head at the same time. It's like, ah, no. Alright, so he said the tea alone passed his lips at that late hour and naught else.
Hold it!
So you didn't have any kind of evening meal, dinner, supper? Ha! Fie on luxury, fie on gluttony. To eat thrice daily is but a waste of time. Sorry? I would that my belly were full, no more oft than the sun doth rise. Well, most heroic eating habits, I must say. Night and day do I fill my hours with learned study of the great bard and playwright. Hence, is it that there doth not in my chamber be more than the costumes of mine art? That would appear to be the case, even as a rodent was found starved to death in your room. Oh no. Now I think it's not just food that was conspicuously missing from the room, is it? I don't recall seeing a single play or script anywhere. But I have devoured them all. He eats the fucking scripts. You eat them? Every word be within my skull. Dost thou imagine otherwise? Right. That wasn't misleading at all. Now, could you turn around, do you think? Which brings us to the conclusion that the only way the poison could have passed the victim's lips is in the tea. Huh. He's outside the bloke's window in the freezing cold all night, keeping an eye on the room.
Hold it!
Weirdo. I wonder what list he thinks... What is he talking about? He's on a list. The windows of the house have all been filled in. A historical artifact of the now defunct window tax. Yep, you're right there. All bricked up horribly. But as it happens, there's a little part of the brickwork at the bottom corner that's been opened up. I was looking in through that gap. Yes, there were a few bricks loose, weren't there? And we removed all of them. And for some strange reason, a couple of bars of soap lined on the ledge of the wall outside. I don't like going round poking my chin over other people's business, especially on a freezing cold night. But them's my orders, so that's what I'll keep doing, as long as there's breath in my body. I wonder if this guy was, like, finding a way to, like, have the gas meter, like, spoofing it or something, that he was able to pay for it without actually paying for it. I figured it out. Oh my god. I know now what... Oh. The soap, guys. The soap. Wait a minute, it's gone! Yeah, it's gone! Light bulb moment. There was some kind of disc in here, and it's fucking gone. This maybe even yes, this is it. This confirms it. The guy says he's on a list. That is pretty round. What is it like? A coin. Think about it. There was something in there when we picked it up yesterday. Today it's empty. Because liquid had been poured into the mold that this soap makes. Liquid that is now dribbled away after it's unfrozen. He left it out on freezing cold window ledges to create a fake coin. Alright, are you with me so far? He then uses said fake coin to pay for the gas in the gas meter. Clink, in it goes. And all it does is measures probably the weight and size and dimension of the coin as it goes through the slot. And then when the coin melts, it dribbles out onto the floor and leaves a puddle. That's what he was doing. That's what the soap was all about. Oh my god, that's what it was. And this is why the gas guy was watching him all night to see how does he do it. What is he doing? How is he able to pay for the gas, and yet when they come to empty the gas meter's coin box, there's nothing in it. That's why. I'm going to have us analyze that again. Oh! What is it, Mr. Naruhodo? This bar of soap, when we first found it, I could have sworn there was some sort of round disc in the depression just here, a reddish one. Like the colour of tea. Oh yes, you're right, I remember it too. But now the depression is completely empty. Where could the disc have gone? I think he used tea. I think he used the tea from the teapot and poured it into here, or some of it anyway. And what he might have been doing was cutting another hole in his soap, which is why he had a bar of soap on the table and a fork in his hand, and why Sholmes thought he was eating the soap. That makes a bit more sense now as well. Also, I wonder, what is this in his, and what is that right there in the back of his head? That is weird. I don't know what that is. Anyway, what's with all the theatricals today? We'll hang on to this little piece of information until it becomes relevant. Out of interest, Mr. Meterman, after the accused had left and returned to his own lodgings, did you see the victim leave the room at all? No, he never left. He was in that room the whole time as far as I'm concerned. And we can therefore discount the possibility of suicide. How can you be so sure of that? The police carried out a thorough investigation of the scene and found no receptacle for the poison. And since we know the victim didn't leave his room and hence didn't dispose of the poison container himself, it is clear that this was no attempted suicide. Only the culprit could have removed the receptacle. Ah yes, lucidly explained, counsel, thank you. It really was, you can't argue with that logic, and it's right. No one else visited the room but the short fella.
Hold it!
You say a short, little, round-backed Eastern fella. You can't be sure if it was the defendant then? How many other short, little, round-backed Nipponese with a mustache do you think there are in London? Probably at least 3. I'm gonna go with 3. Well, of course, it's only a narrow gap, and it was quite dark, so I didn't notice the moustache. But he showed up around 9, I'm pretty sure of that myself. When the person you saw arrived, did he and Shamspeare drink tea together? Nah, sorry, I couldn't say. Why not? Because I couldn't see into the room all that well, could I? But what I did see was the silhouette of a little round-backed fella wearing a pretty dress. And then the pair of them started some kind of wrestling match. I tell you, I don't know what to make of it. I suppose that was the Romeo-Juliet championship battle getting underway? Mr. Meterman, allow me to confirm one final time. Apart from the accused, can you state with certainty that no one else visited the victim on the night in question? No question. Gasman's honor. Oh my. Now here we go. My lord! Oh, goodness me. Yes, Mr. Foreman. I've kept my mouth shut and listened up to now, but this has gone on long enough. Are you all with me? Oh, here we go. Yes! Are we to understand that you ladies and gentlemen of the jury are in agreement with one another? That you've reached a unanimous decision? Too right we have. Are you all with me? Yes! Wait, no! The defense is in the middle of a cross-examination. To be honest, I was holding out a bit of hope for you, young man, especially after you identified those few hours that followed the accused leaving the victim's room. Yes, the 3 missing hours, as you put it. But in the end, what difference do they make? None, as far as I can see. And since that's how now apparent, there's really no reason to delay the decision any longer. Like I was saying before, if I don't take 5 bob home with me tonight, the missus will blow her top. Huh? What's that? Sorry, I didn't quite catch what you said. Very well, let the court be appraised of your decisions. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will state your leanings as to the defendant's culpability.
Guilty. Guilty. Guilty.
Just once, I'd like us to get to this point in a trial early on where they all think, hey, he's innocent. And then Lord Van Zykes does a cross-examination of them. Actually, I wouldn't like that bit. All of you? Well, it would appear the jury is indeed unanimous. This calls for a drink, I think. Though this time at least it seems justice will be done. All's well that ends well, as they say. This calls for a toast, I feel. To the guilty being punished. Ugh. Ah! Get up, Mr. Naruhodo, please. The trial isn't over yet. What do you mean, Miss Susato? What about the information I found in the encyclopedia on British law that I have? That obscure right that belongs to the defense in these situations? Remember? The summation examination? Yeah, they're gonna have to bring this up as though it's the first time, but not. Because this is the first time we've done it in the second game. But it would be the third time he's had to do it since arriving in England. A summation examination? That's right. Oh god, she's fucking full of like stress there, wasn't she? We don't have a jury in Japanese courts, of course, but here in the British Court of Law we can reverse the decisions of a majority of the jurors. We can force the trial to continue. This trial can't end now. Oh my god, he has to adjust his little armband that isn't there on this outfit. Come on. It should have been there on this outfit. Whatever it takes, I can't just let that happen. The defense moves to invoke its right to a summation examination, my lord. Why am I not surprised at my learned Nipponese friend's inability to admit defeat? You choose to cling desperately to some archaic rule you barely comprehend instead of accepting the truth. Certainly no other defense counsel in recent times has exercised the right to a summation examination. Guess they all know that once the jury's mind is set, it cannot be altered. Nevertheless, the right remains and must be upheld. And we've actually altered juries twice now, so... The defense counsel's request is granted. The court will proceed with a summation examination as outlined in the Encyclopedia of British Law. Thank you, my lord. Are you and your fellows prepared, Mr. Foreman? Believe me, my lord, we know it's all about this young lad's tenacity, and we're ready for it. Very well. In that case, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I hereby call upon each of you to state the grounds upon which you find the defendant guilty of the crime for which he stands accused. All right. The victim may not be well off, but he's a noble man and straight up. There's no reason to doubt the man. Well, I do declare the good gentleman has no reason to lie. In fact, I think he's rather splendid. Just look at the accused by comparison. He's Japanese and stoops all the while, and has a mustache. It's very fishy. Wow! Another racist. There's no evidence to suggest that the gangling actor is a fraudsman, for now at least. I really don't care. I just need to get this trial ended quickly. 3 hours of missing time is nothing when you reach my age, you know. Nothing at all. I spend that long taking a shit on the toilet, I do. I knew it. Every single one of them seems completely convinced. It would seem that all the jurors have come to the conclusion that Mr. Shamspeare is a fine, upstanding and honest citizen. If you ask me, they've all been bewitched by his strange theatrical movements. And sadly, nothing Mr. Natsume said appears to have registered at all. Well, here goes. Let's not forget. I've pleaded with the jury on Soseki-san's behalf before and it worked, so you never know. YOLO! Before we begin, it might be an idea for me to remind you exactly how a summation examination works, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh. Well, you're still very new to British law after all. True, I suppose. And Soseki-san's fate is entirely in my hands too. Always a chance I might have forgotten some crucial detail. Perhaps I should hear Susato-san out. Should I let her talk me through it again or not bother? Let's have a refresh the memory just in case they've changed the mechanic. Alright, so, if you remember, the key to changing the jurors' minds is the thing that they say themselves. Yes, it's coming back to me. First, it's important to listen very carefully to each juror's statements. Then, if it sounds as though one of those statements might contradict another, I have to pit the corresponding two jurors against each other to prove one or the other of them wrong. Yes, that's right. In many ways, it's very similar to a normal cross-examination. Alright then, all that remains now is to do it. Just do it, dude. Without further ado, please, counsel, proceed with the summation examination. Yes, my lord. Does he just stand in that pose all the time? Look at him, like seriously, dude. Switch off for a minute. May not be well off, but is a nobleman and straight up, no reason to doubt him. Let's get more info. Well, there are plenty of people in London who seem noble but poor. Couldn't some of them also be liars? I've no doubt about it. Like that shaky client of yours, for example. Or you, during the Magnus McGilded trial, but shh. Absolutely not. Mr. Natsume is no liar. Look, the point is, the only thing that passed the victim's lips that night was the Japanese man's tea. When you take the gas man's testimony into account as well, the truth couldn't be any clearer. Well, that's alarmingly logical. Let me be frank here. I'm a gentleman with a gentleman's values. If it turns out the old Shakespearean chum is a rotten liar after all, I'll gladly change my decision about the defendant. And I'm sure my fellow gentlemen on the jury would do the same. Isn't that right? Well, yes, perhaps. Though I don't see it happening. Eh? What's that? Elderly gent on the end here, you know. You'll have to speak up. Look, I really don't care about all this nonsense. I just need the trial to be over. How many gentlemen do we actually have on the jury, then? And why exclude the ladies? What about the gentle women? Or just, why don't we just say gentle people? Alright, sir. I may hold you to that. Don't forget what you said. If you can show me the victim's a liar, I'll reconsider my position. I'm going to press him again, just see if he has an extra thing. Will you stand by that statement? What do you take me for? I'm a gentleman, sir. A man of my word. Let me be perfectly clear about this. If it turns out the old Shakespearean chum is a rotten liar after all, I'll gladly change my decision about the defendant. I'm sure my fellow gentlemen on the jury will do the same, isn't that right? Yeah. Okay, it's all the same. Elderly gent. Mm-hmm. Alright, has no reason to lie. He's rather splendid. Are you saying you believe the man to be trustworthy because he's rather splendid? No, that's not what I said. The point is, the man is the victim here. What reason would he have to lie? And yes, he is rather splendid. So you say yet again. Meanwhile, the man who stands accused behaves so suspiciously it's exhausting to look at him. I'm afraid he's not splendid at all. Splendid logic there, man. Thank you so much. Jesus. Alright, so we've got a bunch of racist bullshit here, because he's Japanese, so he must be... No. Not one of those things is a reason to find the man guilty. But he is fishy. There's no point dancing around the fact. He's Japanese, he has a mustache, and he stoops. You see, you arrive at the conclusions in just 3 steps. 3 steps like a waltz, in fact. You haven't arrived at a conclusion or stepped into them, you've jumped to a conclusion. You know, the more I think about it, the more this trial seems like a dance. You seem to be several steps ahead of yourself, though, and you're on the wrong foot. No, there's nothing circumstantial but circumstantial evidence here. There's no actual proof of the defendant's guilt. But the victim's version of events is backed up by what the big-chinned man next to him says, isn't it? 1, he saw the Japanese man there. 2, he saw no one else. And 3, he saw the Japanese man oh. There's another 3 steps. Oh, this really does seem more and more like a waltz. 2 of the steps were the same, but anyway. Right, and the prosecution will waltz its way into victory if I let you speak much more. No evidence to suggest the gangling actor is a fraudsman. For now, at least. I think she's the one we need to... This is where the soap's going to come into account.
Hold it!
She's the one we need to maybe pit first. A fraudsman? What do you mean by that, madam? It really is a most tiresome problem for the company. Most irritating. Oh my god, let me guess. Does she own the gas company? Or is she like an executive or something of it? Oh my god, I bet she does. Oh yes! Alright, I see how this is all going to line up. We can be absolutely certain that a customer is stealing from us, but without hard evidence, we can't threaten to take action for fear of being sued. I'm sorry, you've lost me a little here. Who are you? I'm the wife of Augustus Altamont, owner of the Altamont Gas Company. Oh, good gracious, Altamont Gas, you say? Gas is the future of energy in this country and around the globe, but proper handling is essential. As I'm sure our employer from the East End branch office would be the first to agree. Absolutely, Lady Quimby. Gotta be used properly. Altamont Gas is the best in the world, of course. You suck up. I think we might have solved the mystery of the bow from earlier, Mr. Naruhodo. Right, he bowed in deference to his employer's wife, did he? So, would I be right in assuming that the reason Mr. Meterman was watching Mr. Shamspear was up to in his room? I'm afraid there's no end to the lengths the population of East End will go in order to steal our gas. So, I really have no choice when the company identifies someone as a possible fraudsman, but to dispatch a worker on a watch to watch the suspect day and night. We're very thorough in our investigation. So you mean Mr. Shamspear is... I wouldn't come out and say it in public. But you can finish that sentence with a grubby little gas thief. You haven't noticed the public gallery in here, have you? The eye of man hath not heard, the ear of man hath not seen. Faith, wouldst thou wound me with thy words, were I to let them penetrate the skin. But seraphs hear not insults, only choirs of angels in song. We may not have evidence yet, but my workers won't stop buzzing around until they find it. And when they do, you'll find yourself blasted back to your angelic heights at the ultimate gas explosion. Or in an ultimate gas explosion. Wow. She's threatened the guy's life. Okay. Mr. Shamspear has been stealing gas. I wondered, Your Honor, before if you wouldn't mind adding that information to your statements. Now we can pit them against each other.